All right. Let's see if that works here right now. Looks like it. Can I click here? Yeah. Cool. All right, let me just quickly tweet that out that we're gonna start here. Bum, bum, bum. Sweet. Nobody there, but that's okay. So, well, then I can still check if this is also going on YouTube properly. Here we go. Live. Don't go on my nerves. Not now. All right, seems to work. So a few days ago, what I did was that I basically built a custom Twitch bot, which was running in Node.js. So it was a quick and dirty Node.js script that changed my camera settings. So what you see here, for example, oh, where's the camera app? So what you see here is Snapchat's camera app. And basically what I implemented with Node.js was that it now supports Twitch commands. So when you, for example, do exclamation point help, it shows you all the commands. And when you, for example, my favorite is exclamation point shave, and it should shave me on stream for exactly 10 seconds. And I'm still very excited about that, I have to say. So it's a little Twitch bot here, and it also has Viking, for example. So it does that right in the stream. So the cool thing about all these streaming softwares is that basically you can give streaming software, let me turn the color theme here, to a light one so that we see that probably. Light, where are you? Light. This one I have. So what you see there in the stream already is that there is this Wello world. And this is basically a website running on top of the actual stream. So when I go here now and I say, hello world, then you see that it should theoretically update the display in the actual stream. So this is currently a Next.js app, and Madalena is having a little bit of fun here. Is it still working? Oh, did my bot break here? Hey Nathaniel, how's life, man? So let's see, is it broken? It should disable that. I think my bot was just restarting in exactly the second when something happened. So not shaved. You can find all the commands via exclamation point help, Nathaniel, if you want to join the party. How's life, Nathaniel? And what you see there is now that I have already a chat component running in React, and it is immediately showing the chat messages in my actual live stream. So what you see here on the right corner is a React app that does certain things. So, and I probably have to restart and refresh the site because there are several sockets now that do several things, I think. So let's see what we can do with this. So first of all, what I want to do is I probably want to style that somehow, and maybe I want to, probably I want to style that and have some animations and things. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Let me just camera it just a little bit. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. So the first thing that I probably will do is I will refresh the web source that I have. So this is really just a transparent website that is on top of the stream. So when we now type one message, it should only appear one message. Yeah, that seems like it's going to work. So what do we think should we do with the messages? So we should style them a little bit, but what else should we do? I was thinking of animating them. But we could also have client-side bots that change the appearance not only of the reaction, that not only change the appearance of the messages, but also probably of the whole screen. So I'm thinking of having something in combination with the celebrate command that I have right now. Yeah, so let's maybe start styling them first. So what we have here is a chat component. And I have to stop celebrating my own commands here. So what you see here is a chat component. And this chat component currently does all the handling of the messages and of the sockets. And it's all coming from this pages component that just renders the chat. So what I think what I should do first is I should move the logic with the sockets inside of the page component, because probably I want to react in several angles to chat messages to change the appearance of this thing. So the way that this works is that I'm using TMI.js. This is an npm package. You can install that, and then you can give it some tokens from Twitch, and then you can start rendering and interacting with the API, and it's a socket API. So you initialize the client then, and I assume now that because we're refreshing Next, that I now already have 2 messages rendering. Yeah. So I have to refresh every now and then, because every time Next.js re-renders this thing, maybe we can work around that first. So let's say that we bring in another state, which is simply a Boolean to not connect the socket API when Next.js re-renders, because that would be very, very annoying. So let's just say use state false, and this gives us is loaded maybe, and set is loaded. So, and we give it a false initially, and then inside of this effect hook, we say if not is loaded, then we want to initialize the client and attach an event handler. And we do it like this. And then when this is done, we call set, oh, I have a typo here already. Set is loaded. And when you want to use in a use effect hook, a state hook, I learned the last time that you have to do it like this, because otherwise it will be completely undefined and we will not update at all. So what we have to do here is, but actually we don't want to do that. We don't need the Boolean that we have in there. We only want to set is loaded. Oh, it was terrible. I was debugging that for an hour a few days ago. But what we actually just want to do is here set is loaded is false. And this now potentially should change, should fix that we attach several socket listeners. So let's say hello here, still works. And when we now do a refresh and I do a second hello. Yeah, so with this we can already prevent that the socket API gets several listeners attached after every reload. But actually what I want to do is I want to move this stuff one component up so that we can see, have a look how we can distribute reactions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these few lines, which are only the Twitch handling, and then I go here. Let's paste that in one here, and then I'm going to grab this handling here. So let's get that one out, and I'm going to pass that in here. So here we have the page component. This is Next.js. And then we say set messages, and when we pass the messages down to the component messages, And then we should have in our functional component, the properties will pop up here. So we could do messages. And in theory, did we have this line too with the client? No, we did not. So we grab this one line too, which we are gonna use here. And you see that Next.js is already complaining, and because it's a full page overlay, we see that something's wrong. I have all the page open, so what's the problem here? Cannot read messages of, okay, let's continue the journey first and then let's clean up. So we don't need this stuff anymore. We basically don't need anything anymore in here. And it's still complaining about messages. Twitch render messages. Messages. Here we go. And with this, potentially we should still have the same logic available or the same functionality. So let's see, hello. And it's still working. Chat. It's still rendering right on top of my editor here, which is nice. So the first thing that I probably want to do is, I thought that we should maybe limit the whole thing to 10 messages, to only show the last 10 messages on the screen. So what I do in here is, in our handler, let's say const messages to render, and then we're just gonna limit it to, oh, let's do it like this, slice 0, 10, and then we can actually keep it like it was. We go with set messages like this. So this way we should already be able to only show 10 messages. So let me just send some chat messages here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that turns out great. All right, let me refresh the browser source here on that end. Let's do refresh because it shouldn't. All right, 10 from Nathaniel, 11, 12, 13. How many do we have now? Yep, seems to work. Okay, this is 10 messages, but probably we have to reverse the array first because I want to show the last messages. Last messages. So let's do it like this. So we should have single, let's see, 1, 2. We have to reversing doesn't cut it because now it's a complete. Okay, so let's see. So what we want to have basically is we want to show the last 10 messages. So we have to, oh, how does slice work? Let's have a look. mdn array.slice. And let's have a look at that one. Do we have -1 or something? A negative n can be used from the end of, oh, slice -10 should do the job. Cool, then let's do it like this. So with this, what we should have is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the front end because I'm getting, with the numbers, I'm getting a little bit confused here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have taken 6 or something. 7, 8, hello. Goodbye. And now we're getting to the critical. I'm Nathaniel, test. And what happens now? Next one. And boom. And looks good. So with this, we would now already have kind of a running chat that shows always the last message. Shows the last message. Yeah, seems to work. Nice. So the question is then, how should it look like? Should it be a box? Should it be something? Let's have a look. And how do we animate React stuff? Is React Spring a thing? I read that every now and then. Spring with simple. Ooh, that is something fancy, huh? Let's have a look. Do we have examples? Basics. Scroll up. Scroll down. Well, that looks cool. Oh, I'm digging the star. I totally should. I totally think that we should have a TIL bot. Maybe I'm derailing that. That would be cool if some light bulbs would pop up or something. Let's give that a try. Oh, I love that. Let's see what happens if we have light bulb SVG. So let's have a look. But let's do. I have on my resource, I have some free Svg libraries, so let's have a look. So resources, graphic, free icons for your project. Let's have a look, what do we have here? Light bulb? Is a light bulb the white one? Or should it be something else? Oh, I love these. Oh my god. I'm digging that one. That one is cool. Is that giving me... What? Okay, Google it is. Light bulb SVG. Can we do this? Let's see. Something with color would look really nice. I think that could do it. That could do it. Yeah, let's go with this one. Can I have that for free? Here we go. That looks good. Does it do that? Nice. Show Finder. Let's open that one as in VS Code. Here we go. Sweet. All right, that this is how a typical SVG file looks like, right? Okay, let's see what happens if we can just make a component out of that. Does that work out of the fly? So I'm going to my components and I'm gonna say, not a new folder, but I'm gonna say light bulb JS, and then we're gonna do, how is the syntax? The syntax is export default function. Export default function light bulb. And then, is React complaining about that? Style is not a thing. Oh, I know that Sarah Vieira has a tool for this, to do SVG to React components. And I collect a lot of tools on tinyhelpers.dev. So let's have a look if I find that very quickly. So you find SVG here, and there is one in there. Let's sort that by date. System icons. SVG to JSX. Well, that looks pretty much... All right, drag the file. Oh, now I closed my Finder. Let's have a look. Where was it? Downloads, light bulb. Okay, that looks good. Drag and drop it. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Let's copy that one. And let's go here. Let's get rid of all this stuff first. Here we go. And now let's see what we have here. Export default, or we can even use it exactly like this. Nice. So let's do it like this, and we call it light bulb. Bulb. And then export default light bulb. And then theoretically what we can do is we can go, why is that complaining? Let's ignore that. So we're gonna bring in the component, which is import light bulb from components light bulb JS. And then we could, let me clean a few things up here on the side. And then what we could do is we could bring in another Boolean for now. Let's say is til set is til use state false. Okay, I have some logic here for commands in here. Let's just hack it in for now. If message equals til set is til to, thank you, set is til to true. And what we would have to do is we would have to do something like set timeout, and then we revert it afterwards. So we can do set is til false. And let's call it show. Or show light bulb? Yeah, let's go with show light bulb. Light bulb. And this is set is show light bulb. And then here we go, here we go. And then we revert the whole thing after 10 seconds. And then what we could theoretically do is we could do light bulb here. And we just show it right now like this. Oh man, I'm already excited about this. Okay, this is cool. So let's have a look. What we want to do now is we want to have a condition here. If show light bulb, return light bulb, and otherwise do nothing. So when we now bring in the til command, all right, and then after 10 seconds, it should disappear automatically. Oh my, that is pretty good for a few minutes in. Oh my god. Okay, what I have to do now first is I have to change the bot, because the help has to show that too. So I'm gonna go to my bot. So for the help command, what the bot currently does is it shows when you type !help, it shows all the commands that are available in this node script. And I need this node script because otherwise I cannot work with a snap camera app that is running here right now. So what we should probably do is we should add something like const front end commands maybe, and these could then just be another array, and we add til here. So what we can do then here is we can spread that in two. So we say front end commands, which means now when I type !help, it should show til in there. Nice. So otherwise when you do til like this, cool. I think I want to make it several light bulbs, and then I want to animate it. I see you're enjoying here what I did last time, Nathaniel, huh? So it should revert after 10 seconds automatically. Yeah. My favorite is still shave. Because it looks so creepy. Yeah, 20 years younger. Okay, so back to topic. So what I want to do? So what I want to do first is I think I'm going to rename light bulb. I'm going to rename this to light bulbs. And then I have a single light bulb here, but I would like to have function. So let's return light bulbs here. Light bulbs. And we're going to do function. No. I keep this a single one because this is just the SVG. And then we're going to do light bulbs, which renders. It would be cool to have a random number of light bulbs. So let's just do light bulb for now to see if it still works then. Okay, we have a fail to compile. What's the problem? Okay, it did not update the import. So we have to do light bulbs here. Okay, that works again. So we can do again TIL, same thing, cool. So what I would like to do is I would like to render maybe 3 to 7 light bulbs, and then we could animate them with Spring, which I've never used before. But it could be cool. So let's figure out how to get a random number between. Oh, I have to always prototype that first. So let's see how we do a random number. So we can do math random, something like that, and then multiply it with, let's say, 7. And then we can do math floor. But actually, I always want to round up. Which one is that? Round up JavaScript. This is seal is what I'm looking for. Nice. So what we can do is seal 7 to, yeah. And then we can go back here and we can say const number of light bulbs equals this. But let's do a ternary here. So yeah, let's go for readability. So an if number of light bulbs is smaller than 3, number of light bulbs equals 3. Something like this. So and then we could do what's your problem here? Okay, we have to go let, of course. Yeah. So and then we could do something like, oh, that is a tricky one. So I would like to iterate 3 times, but I cannot. So for example, when you do new array 3, it has an array with 3 empty slots, and you cannot iterate over this because empty slots are not considered when you do this. So let's just see if this works. So number and then equal console. Oh, number is a reserved word. So number console log num, and I don't think this is logging anything. Yeah. How do I iterate now 3 times over that? So boom, 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 boom. Let me get rid of this hello world there. This bugs me a little bit. So let's get rid of this. Cool. So should we do it just very, very dirty? No, but we cannot actually. Create array without holds JavaScript. Holds an array. What happens when we do comma, comma, comma? So we could do something like this. Oops. Something like this. Still an empty array. I don't want to do anything without holds. Let's see. How do we do this the best way? Create array without holds JavaScript. That's exactly the same thing that I Googled before, isn't it? Let's have a look. Does not have holds. Which is the last one is little and does not have any. So there's a difference between, so what you can do, for example, when you do, this is called, I can recommend this article from Axel Rauschmeier here. So this is usually pretty good. So it's, I'm dropping it in the chat. Let's see, is that allowed or is that preventing it? No. So this article shows the fact of holds. So for example, when you create a new array, so let's say you have an array like this and you have a number here, you have a hole there and you have another one. So basically you have nothing in here. So what you have here now, you see already that the DevTools tell you that the slot is empty. So when you now, for example, do a.length, it should have 3. So it looks like there are 3 elements in there. But the key point here for iteration and such, for example, when we now do an for each here and we say num console log num, it will only log it twice. Yeah, because it's skipping over the holds. Or is array.fill? Is that something? Thank you, Adam. Array.fill, what does that do? Changes all elements from a, oh, that looks good. So let's say we do new array and then we do .fill, and I really just have to have something in there. Oops, yeah, let's give it a length. That looks already better. With this, I can iterate over that. Thank you, Adam. So what we can now do is we can say, we can do something like this. Is that the smartest way to do it? I don't know. So light bulb array is something like this. And what we now can do is we can have in our render function, let's do it like this. And we can go in here and we can say light bulb array. Can we fill it with, does that work with JSX now? Can I do this? Because then we could do this, and we only have to do light bulbs in here. Oh, that is actually not so bad. So what we can now do is we can it should always be a render function, right? So, okay, so let's see what happens when we do TIL now. Okay, we still see the light bulb. So we see still the light bulb. They need to have a unique property. Does fill accept parameters in the callback? So let's have a look. Array.fill JavaScript. Here we go. Does that accept the callback? No. Okay. So then we're back to the topic. So light bulb, array, fill, and we're just filling it with empty strings here. And then we go in here and we say light bulb array map. We don't care about the first thing. We don't care about the first thing, and then we're gonna return a single light bulb with the key of the index here. So we can get rid of this one, and then we're gonna close this body here. What's the problem? Can I not do this? Okay. So what we now can do is we can do TIL. Well, looks like we have some light bulbs here. Nice. Hey Salma, happy to have you. And what we now can do, first of all, we can do celebrate. So let's have a look at React Spring, shall we? So how would we do this? So let's have a look. We can clean up a little bit here. Clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up. So the idea here is, first of all, I wanted to display the chat messages properly, but we ended up that we just bring in a TLI command that maybe does something with these SVG light bulbs. So let's hide maybe the chat for now, so that we, let's go into the index component back again, and then we can get rid of this one because we don't need it, and TIL should still work. Yeah, nice. I like that. So how would we do this? So we would have to position the light bulbs. We have to rename this body first because it's plural now. Yeah, we do it like this. And then, is there like a transitioning thing? So how does that work? So that looks super fancy here, for example. So how would that work? Let's first of all install React Spring. Let's see what, and then take it from there. And then what we could do is we grab it like this, and we have our light bulb component here. Oh, we should probably import React here. Okay, and then we have here our SVG. Where was the light bulb? Here it was. That would be super cool if that's basically it. Dash offset. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but let's see. So the offset is basically this event that is going on there. So let me restart all this bot stuff. Okay. So let's confirm that everything still works. So when we do TIL, okay, this still shows. It does not. Okay, we have to close that properly. Here. Oops. And then let's see if that works. So when we now do TIL, props is undefined. Let's bring them in. But I wonder how to animate that, to be honest. So another try. Nothing is happening. Okay. Okay. Animated. Where do I use Spring here? So we have. Aha, we're missing one line here. Okay. But it's only. So the way this works. So let's have a look if we see something in the DevTools here. So the way that this works is that it should update this thing here. Yeah, it updates the dash offset of this path that is actually making up the star. But maybe that's a little bit too advanced here for now. Can we just show and hide things or something? Does anyone have ideas what to do with the light bulb showing up? So let's revert that. So the idea here is what we currently do is that I implemented a bunch of Twitch commands already. So when you do exclamation point help, it shows a lot of commands, and there's now this new TIL command, which is not showing a light bulb anymore. Okay, so what's the problem now? Is that our problem? So let's see. Oh no, looks like we broke it. Light bulbs, light bulb. Nothing here, is that correct? So let's see. Yeah. Looks like I broke the component now somehow. So let's see. I only brought in React Spring, didn't I? So this is rendering. So let's see, console log. When we now do something here, okay. I broke somehow this component. How did I do that? Did I change anything else? Can we get just Command Z before I brought in React Spring? So I did some stuff here. And here's when we had the light bulb. And this was the last running state, I think. So let's see, when we now do TIL, or lattice, Do we have to refresh the browser here or something? Return number of light bulbs. Light bulbs. Exactly, this was working. Or did I change something here? Is it still refreshing properly? So let's see when I do this. What? Now it works? Okay, I don't get that. That should work without the messages. So when I now do TIL, okay, so we're back to normal. So the way that I envisioned it is just like that it does something like boop, 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 and then a few light bulbs just show up. Or maybe we should just start with transitioning them in somehow using React Spring. Opacity, toggle 1.0. Are there examples? Okay. Flipping stuff. Oh, that is a slider? Ooh. Oh, that is fancy. What is that? Parallax stuff. Parallax stuff. That looks great. What is that? Okay, I think that we can take our way from here. So we could transition them in, and then we could make them a little bit like that. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Is that a code sandbox now? Okay, let's have a look. How does that work? So we have an animated div. And then we have X. So let's see, click, click, click. Okay, so it's calling uSpring from X. Oof, this is hard to read. Oh my god. From X config. Okay. So it has a from, and then it has a to. Isn't there something missing in there? And then it has X interpolate range. Boy, I feel like this feels super complicated, but let's have a look. So what we should do is we should have something like this, which we can put on top of our light bulb. And then we should have uSpring, which we already installed. And then we have this stuff. Let's just copy the whole demo and then we tweak it from there. Yeah, let's do it like this. So then let's go with Spring.js. So I'm just gonna copy the whole thing here, and I'm gonna say we don't need styles for now, I assume. And then we do export default Spring. And I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna change this one. And then what we can do is we can go into the parent page and we can bring this one in. So we get to import Spring from components Spring.js. And then we could, what's the problem here? We could, oh, I have a name collision here. Spring comp, then maybe. Here we go. And then what we're gonna do is Spring comp very hacked into this. We do Spring comp. And I can give this some inline styles, right? Can I? So what I can do is style. And then let's do position, absolute, top 200 pixels, left 200 pixels. Style. What? Let's give it a div then that just wraps the whole thing. Something like this, and then let's bring it in there, and then let's hopefully you see the same thing as in the code sandbox. So when we do that now, object is not a function. 19. Use Spring. This. Oh, I messed something up here first. What is this? Where are the render props coming from? They are not in here. So it's from my previous copy and paste. Okay, so this div has an on-click handler. So when we now go here, use Spring is not a function, we're just importing it. So let's see. It is a function. Line 18, this is where we're logging, yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. All right, let's see. I'm not really sure what to do with this error, to be honest. Oh, here it is. Okay. So when I do click, okay, does stuff. So hopefully now this still works. Nice. Okay, so this still works. And when we now we click it, okay, so what happens now when we make this? This is an animated div. When we just paste in the SVG stuff that we have from the light bulbs, so we could just very quick and dirty copy this because I'm gonna use that here anyways. So we can just grab this one and we go into our test thing and we do something like this. So when we now go here, it is not showing anything, which is great. Is it this empty div here? Let's give it a class so that we can, does that work? Class name, Spring test. Where is it? It is here, but it's not giving the class name. Ah, here we go. Okay. So when I click this, it does things with the opacity and with the, okay. So when we now do paste an SVG in here, is it not rendering anything anymore? So we have here the class, and we have here the SVG. Does that need a size now? Or this block? height. Ah, here we go. Well, that is already something. So what's the view box here? So it's 512, 512. So what we probably should do is we can do width 512, height 512 to have, I don't want to write CSS for that actually. So let's see if that does the trick. Okay. That's cool. So what we now could do is the bot still working? Yeah, okay. So when we do this now, I think that with this, it's time to understand what is actually going on. So it is calling use Spring, it has a from, and then it has, yeah, I think it's time to read some documentation, isn't it? So we're calling use Spring. Okay, it turns value into animated values. If you re-render the component with changes props, the animation will update. Okay, I think we should... Can I not copy this? What's going on? What? Looks like Chrome is crashing or something. I want to copy this. Yeah, looks like the browser window crashes here. Hey Nathaniel, happy you're back. So what we have now is we have an animating light bulb already. When you click it, it does that. So, and we're making our way now slowly but surely. Okay, we don't need that one anymore. And I want to copy a snippet. So we're gonna look at USpring and I want to use this one. And I think we should take it slowly in the light bulbs. So what we do first is we bring in use state here. And it basically says opacity. It is just from to, isn't it? If you render. So the way to do this is so it has a from property. So let's define that one first. And we're gonna animate it from opacity 0. And then we're gonna, there has to be a 2. When there's a from, then there has to be 2. Yeah, okay. And then we're gonna do 2. And I assume that we just can do opacity 1. And here a comma. And then it does some inline styling here. And we do this. Okay. So let's have a look. When we now do, we fire up the command again with til. It did not work. Why is that? til. We probably have to give it a duration, huh? Isn't it? Probably these things need a duration. Duration. No? So it's the same thing, use Spring, which is used here. Config. Oh, wow. Oh, that does some more things here. Oh, wow. So then on mouse move, I just want to transition something. Prop shortcuts. How do I define how long this goes? In Springs is just a plural, or what is that? Wow. I feel like if I would do this in CSS, I would be way faster. This looks probably what we're looking for. Okay, so it is use Spring, and then it is a config object. And then we have duration 1 second. What else do we have? Spring mass, Spring energetic load. I have no idea. So let's see, when we now go here and we do TIL, still nothing. Alerts, I'm not sure. I'm also a total Twitch noob. So are there special alerts in Twitch? I have no idea. So let's see what happens when we're here and we have a TIL command. It should appear here, and it is showing the light bulbs in the browser. That is the overlay for the stream. No, but I probably should set up alerts, huh? No, I have nothing set up except for this little bot that tells me every 20 minutes that I should tell what I did. But I do have some commands available. That is, thanks for the, I will do my homework here, and thank you very much. That's something to celebrate then. I have already a celebrate command here, which should still work. When you do exclamation point help, you see a lot of custom commands that are available. But back to topic. So how do we debug that now the best way? So what we probably should do is yeah, my favorite, I do that all the time, but my favorite is the shave one because it just looks like so creepy. And Nathaniel, who is also around, thinks I look like 15 probably or something. So how do we debug that now? Let's see. So the duration is not doing anything. Doesn't look like it, at least. So we have Spring can be turned. If you want to adjust these settings, you should provide a config property to use Spring. Okay. Is that doing something on click? Yeah, so the way these commands work is basically, I can do a quick recap. So I have a Node.js script running in the background, which also which uses the Twitch API, and then I bring in a library that is called robot.js, and robot.js, all it does, so I have snap camera running here. So all robot.js does, it triggers global key commands in macOS. So you see here that I'm triggering Control, Alt, and then a given index. And these map to the shortcuts that are set up in Snap Camera. So this way I can now bring in a command which triggers a few keystrokes, which changes the camera here, and which then goes into Streamlabs as a camera source. Yeah, it took me a moment to figure that out, but writing the script was actually pretty straightforward. So, and I should probably move the light bulb that we have here way more to the right, so that people actually can see stuff even more. So yeah, the tricky part here was robot.js, because triggering global keystrokes in macOS was actually not that easy. All right, so I would like to animate still my light bulb. This doesn't seem to do it. So what is tension? Yeah, I just googled keystrokes macOS, and I tried a few, and this one was the only one that actually worked. Do I have to toggle something? Does USpring need two things? Something really like this, like a toggle, to animate something? So let's have a look. I feel like I really have to figure out this thing again, which we have in a own component. So that does on, where's the click handler? So far it's running smoothly, thank you. But I will keep that in mind. So it does on click, and then it toggles this thing. So I assume that we have to toggle the state first so that it takes action. But what do we need from and to then for? So USpring docs again. Maybe we should start with this snippet here, and it keeps doing something weird. So let's do, yeah, it freezes in Chrome actually. So let's use this and maybe bring in a toggle first. So I'm gonna bring in this body here. We have toggle, and then we have props, and we do const show up, set show up, use state false, and then we do show up, and when is it a click handler? I really don't want to put a, yeah, for now, let's just do it like this. State and toggle. I think this is very annoying naming, but then it's triggering the state here. Okay, so what happens now when we grab this function, we put it on the SVG, even if it feels very dirty, and we say set show up equals not show up. So when we do this now, theoretically, and we go into the overlay that we have, this is the light bulb that we're just showing right now, but when we do TIL, it should still show up as smaller light bulbs, and when I click these, nothing is happening. Well, that is great. At least at least we have a lot of light bulbs everywhere. How does that work? Show up, opacity 1, otherwise opacity 0, and on a click. Okay, it's time to not hide the light bulbs all the time. So let's just always show the light bulbs so that we have something to work on right here. So with this, we see now all the light bulbs on stream, and when I click them, nothing is... Are they behind something here? No, no. Okay. So in theory, when we go to the light bulbs, we have one light bulb. Let's just see if the click handler works. Yep. Let's see if the click handler works. So when we open up the console here, okay, that works. So props goes there. Props goes there. That is way too hard. Transition elements in React Spring. Oh, should we use transition maybe? And anyway, feed your items. I mean, the demos all look fancy and dandy and stuff, but I just want to have an initial... Should we go render props instead, maybe? Ooh, this looks way nicer. Let's go with this. Oops. So we're gonna bring in the Spring thing, which should have a render prop. Oh yeah, I like that more. So then theoretically what we could do is something like this. So return here, and then inside of this body, let's grab this one. We're not gonna do it. That feels good. What's the problem? Spring is not exported by React Spring. How can that be? We have to have a different thing here. Okay. We're gonna do like this. Here we go. Do we have an animated hello now? Well, that doesn't look great. Okay, that doesn't look great. What is complaining here? Spring. Okay, let's see. Instant rename object. Whoa. Did I do something wrong? That should actually just work, shouldn't it? Spring. Okay, so it looks like I had a typo or something. So when we now go back here, no, we're still wrong. Okay. Okay. Runtime object. Must use import to load ES module. Where are we here? can never be easy, can it? So let me just paste the SVG so that I have it. And that is not, here we go. Okay, and now it's not doing well with this import. Do we have to install something else then? It should be just there, right? Install React Spring. People say, I don't care. Basics. But I would like to go with the render prop because that feels good. But it is there, isn't it? So when we go to, these are the perfect JavaScript moments when nothing seems to work. Must use import to load ES module. Use Spring. Well, maybe back to I really feel like it should be like something that we had. Something like, okay, back to the states. So it should be from and to, and that's it, because this is what React Spring should do. From to done, yeah. From okay, second try. We do from 0 opacity to opacity 1. And then we have a bunch of props. We can drop all this. Now we can get back the SVG that we had here. Let's bring that back in. Let's see if VS Code can handle the comments. No. Okay, so we bring back in the SVG. Something like this. Yeah. And then we do style equals props. That's all I want to do. They're just there. There's nothing happening. So let me make things a little bit smaller here so that I can see what we're doing here actually. So when we look at this SVG here, does it have properties? Did React Spring do anything like at all? Style, opacity, object, object. Okay. Let's just log out what the props are here. Props. So theoretically, so I think it is rendered several times, isn't it? Let's put just some curlies around it, little debugging tip. Then you always see what you're actually debugging. So it is called 3 times, which makes sense because there are 3 light bulbs. And let's just get rid of the huge light bulb for now, which is our test here. Yeah, let's drop that one. So, oops. So it is doing props. Am I passing it wrong? Oh, do we have to do this? Is that the problem here? Animated thing? Where's animated coming from? I cannot just do animated SVG, can I? Let's go to light bulb again. It's light bulbs. Animated. Is that exported here? Yeah. Animated SVG. Animated SVG. All right, that looks good. Refresh. Oh, that was hard. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it does work that you can define a from property, a to property, but the trick is that you have to define animated.svg. Okay. So with this, how do we move forward? So what we could do, for example, now is we could probably do something like translate x 0. Why is it complaining? What? I cannot give several values? Okay, I feel that now it will be faster. So from to, okay, so from translate x 0. We probably have to do this one too. Do they have fancy typings? Yeah, they do. So we do now something like this. 0 pixels. Is it now moving? Well, it is not, but it should have now the value translate. It's transform translate x. Yeah, it's probably, I'm using the wrong stuff here. So let's grab the light bulb. We're gonna go here, and it is transform translate. This is what we're looking for. Yeah, my bad. Transform translate 0 0, and then we do transform translate 0. No, let's do, I don't know, 10 pixels, no, more, 50 pixels, 50 pixels. Is it with a comma? Yeah, it is with a comma. Come on. Transform. Opacity, opacity. So let's play around with the opacity first, because I actually really want to step animation. So what we're going to do here is, so when we do something like this, we can drop the color from here, and then we should have the light bulb blinking at least. So when we do this, opacity, opacity, from to, what's the problem? Okay, so let's see. So it was doing the initial like this. Here we go. So that works. Yeah, so that works. But it's not showing them on stream anymore, is it? It's just showing it in the browser. When I go here, they should be visible all the time, basically. So let's refresh this body here. Here we go. So when we do now this, we have them here. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So and I would like them to have an array here. Okay, still all cool. And then we do this. And with this, it's not happy anymore. No overload. Overload one of two. Value merge. Oh my god. Isn't this what is exactly here? 2 from opacity, or because it's the same value? No. Let's copy this whole thing. Is it still building? Yeah, I have VS Code I have TypeScript integration turned on. So let's see if this is now actually working and the error is not correct. Yeah, so great. So this actually works. So we can drop all these and we ignore the squiggly lines for a little bit. Here we go, nice. So what we can now do is from opacity 0 to, and then I want to do transform, translate 0, 0. And then we want to have transform, translate, I don't know, -10, let's go -25 pixels, -25 pixels. And then we want to put that in a new line here. I'm not sure if I can drop opacity here actually. So we're gonna move it to the left 25 pixels, then we move it to the right. And then we end up in the middle on the x-axis and then the middle on the y-axis. So when we're doing this now, nothing. All right, that is great. Great, it's doing the translation, but it's not keeping the transforms for some reason. Let's have a look. How's this done? I think this is pretty nice. Linear gradient, something. Is it just x? x0, x -50, x 50, and then we do x0. Well, it's clearly doing some, no, it's below my peak. Okay, let me move that here. So it's clearly doing something. It can probably not, you know what it is? It can probably not interpolate strings. Probably only can do numbers. React Spring translate x. What was the answer there? There was something. I just realized that transform translate x. Okay. Transform translate x 0 pixels. Yeah, let's just start with the x-axis first. Transform something like that. Something like that. I think I have to turn off this smart VS Code thing that is not really helpful here. Something like that, that, and that. Okay, so let's see what happens now. It is animating it. But let's see. Yeah. Nice. Okay, let's just bring in 50, 50. Let's do that 2 more times here. And we can probably make that faster with config. What were the config objects? Common API. Duration. I don't know, let's see. Duration 100. So when we go back here, we do a refresh. Okay, so it is animating now. That is a first good step. So what we now would have to do is in our component here, what we're going to do is we're going to make this a div now. And we give this some inline styles. And I'm going to say position relative first. What's your problem now? Position relative. Here we go. And then we give our light bulbs a position absolute. And then they should be already all on top of each other. Oops, absolute. And without the semicolon. Style does not intrinsic attributes. So I think we have to wrap that once, because probably animated SVG doesn't have that. So let's see what happens now. Oh no, it broke something. Div animated SVG. Let's see. Yeah, one should be able to write proper JSX here. Okay, they are not on top of each other. So, but they are moving. When I do a refresh here, okay, so let's see. When I do this, okay, so let's see what we got. We have, and I should move that to the left again. We have here our light bulbs. And we have position relative. It's not passing this stuff. So let's do style here. And let's do, how is it? Like this? or style equals style. Now they're all gone. This is great, but they get a position absolute now. Okay, we need some width on the SVG. 512. Height 512. Okay, and then we do something like left math, let's give it a string, math random, do a template string here, math random multiplied by, I don't know, let's go 30. And then we do math floor to just move them around a little bit so that they're not all on top of each other. Math floor, and then we do pixels. So theoretically they're now moving next to each other. Did they? Let's see. So when we have a look here, we have left 25, left. Yeah. I think that we should have there's this filter that should work. Yeah, let's see. So drop shadow. They are, okay. So let's do, where are we? We give the SVG a filter. The cool thing about filters compared to can we merge these now? That is a good question here. Let's rotate them too. And we do left, and then we do transform template string again, we do rotate, and then we have something like this, and then same thing, math random, math floor, and then 30, and then we have DG here. So let's see if that's rotating the light bulbs. Is it? Doesn't look like. So we have transform, rotate, what is it? X, Y. Oh, I have a typo here. Oh, well, that's great. Well, somewhat works. Let's just make it a little bit bigger here. So we go with 100 here, and we go with 45 degrees here. We're slowly getting there. 45 is probably too much. Let's go with 30. Maybe random is not the right thing to do here, actually. So how many light bulbs do we have now? We have 3 light bulbs. It should be -2. Let's see. And they have to have a delay. How do I do a step function here? Like a chain. Use chain animated. Oh, that looks fancy. That looks very fancy. All right, let's have a look. Oh, that is all so much. Use Spring. What is the rest here? Spring ref. That is very cool though. So we have a transition with styles. Red transition open. All right, I'm gonna take a very short break. All right, I think we're getting closer here. I'm a little bit struggling on how to approach that. Maybe we should. So what we have so far is that we have 3 light bulbs, but actually it should always be a random number of light bulbs. Oh, we forgot the random. Okay. What we wanted to do here is the number of light bulbs, not 3. Okay. So with this, we now have always a random number of light bulbs. Yeah. And these should be a little bit like boom, 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 boom. So the idea here is that these light bulbs appear on stream when someone types in TIL. So how would we now rotate them? So they should be a little bit like this, right? They should be rotated like this and then ping, 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 ping. Should we maybe... So when we look at what we have right now and we close DevTools, this is how it looks right now. This is not very exciting. Even though it's not too bad. So transform. Do we have global stats for? Let's make the light bulbs a little bit smaller because it annoys me a little bit. So let's do max width 100%. So this now should lead to the fact when I do something like this and I say that every light bulb should be, for example, 5M, everything should be a little bit smaller already. So tiny wins here. Without the semicolon. Okay. So this is already a few light bulbs that are doing something. So what we would have to do now is let's just multiply this thing with -1 when it's depending on the index. We do multiply and then multiplied if index modulo 0 multiplied with -1 and otherwise with 1. So with this, we should now already have a little bit. Let's see what happens there with that. And we do the same thing with the rotation. So at least there should be now a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So let's have a look. Did I break it? Nothing there anymore? Ah, here we go. But they're not rotating in the other direction, are they? If modulo 0, what is that returning? Shouldn't it be -1? So when we do this, we parse it to a Boolean and we say index is 0, then it's true, index is 1, then it's still true, 3, still true. Okay, I definitely have a thinking error here. Equals 0. What? Ah, modulo 2 is what I want to do. Ah, that was stupid. All right, so with this, what we could do now is, well, that looks already a little bit better. Now we only have to, cool. So that is already not too bad. So where's this coming from? It's coming from pages. Did I position at absolute? Just, okay. So what we're gonna do here is now we have to bring in this step animation stuff somehow. So what do we have here? We have a transitions. Transref, where's that used? There, used chain. This will orchestrate the two animations above. What are the two animations? Spring ref. I feel like that this is overly complicated, to be honest. So from size, background hot pink. I mean, it looks very beautiful, but it feels very complicated. But basically what we're interested in is React transition, I assume, or use transition, yeah. Yeah, this is pretty much what we're looking for. So we're doing, yeah, we're gonna go with going with something like this. So in our light bulb container, we do, oops, we do transitions. Let's see what is there. Use transition, items. Our items is probably light bulb array. Now we can do, now we can copy this body here, which is transitions.map, and we do, let's see, we go in here. We don't need this. What do we have here? We have transitions.map. We have to have that in these. And then we have an animated div with the props. What is items here? Yeah, items probably just the number, but what we want to have in there is the actual light bulb, not the animated text. And then we maybe can drop this one. And what is the index here? Key is key. Okay. So what is key in this example? Can I do this? Let's see, key, key. What is it complaining about? It's complaining about use transition not defined, use transition. Are they appearing after another? No, I don't think they are. Encountered 2 children with the same key 3. $88. Yeah, I assume we should stick with the index. So we see here that we have an object that's a map function, so we should still have the index here. So something like that. Yeah. It is not transitioning though. Encountered 2 children with the same key 6. Key should be unique so that, yeah. Let's see. That is super duper hard here. So let's just quickly check if the command is still working. So when we now do TIL, that looks super poor. That is super poor. Yeah. So let's see. Why is that not animating here now? Oh, I'm not sure if I'm very happy with the React Spring choice, to be honest. Okay, yeah, I have to flip that back here to light bulbs so that we should see them all the time. Here we have them. Prop style did not match server. Yeah, this is a Next.js thing, then that is not too bad, but children have the same key. I assume that this is one of the problems why it's not properly rendering the light bulbs. What are the keys here? Let's have a look. What do we have? So we have position relative, and here we have the rotation. So what is in there? Maybe we should skip animated SVG for now to just see if they're appearing after another. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so we have just different light bulbs. Yeah. And they're transitioning somewhat in, I guess. So we see that they're coming from the top. From, yeah, enter, leave. Yes. Do we still have the key error? Yes. But they're coming from the top, which makes sense. There's no delay though. So how do we delay them? Use transition items. Video items, keys, which can be null, and life cycles. Whenever items are added or removed, it will add these changes. Do we have something like delay or something? Or what is this common object? I would like to have a look at this complete. Oh. Delay before the adds up for each enter. Okay. Should we have a trail here? Does that help this whole thing? So we could do, we don't need leave. And then we could do config, trail. What does it expect? A number like 500? Does that do something? Config, trail do before the animation starts, add up. Are there examples here like to, yeah, this looks good. Oh, we still have one open here too, right? Aha, so it should be, okay, it should be something like this. It should be in line. Okay, so it should be here, presumably. Okay, so let's see what happens to the light bulbs now. So when we go here, yeah, well, they're all moving still on the same time. So when we now do, I don't know, unique true, does that make a difference? I feel like the key problem is the thing here. Chosen with the same key undefined. Yeah, I think this is really the problem. Item probably should have index here, and then we do just index to have different key properties. So let's see. Nice, we get there, we're getting there. So what we want to do is we want to do something like this, and now they should come from the bottom and to boop boop boop. Well, they don't. From 0. Let's have a look. You should not go down, you should go up. Let's see. Here we go, that's not too bad. So let's make it a little bit faster. Even faster, so let's just go with 50 milliseconds. Oh, it's annoying that I really have to refresh here all the time. That is not enough. So let's do this. We can probably do a little bit more, and it could be a little bit bouncy. That would be cool. Yeah. That's actually already not too bad. Okay, let's see what happens when we now connect that back to the command that we have. So we have this index page which is currently showing all the light bulbs. So let's see, when I now remove these and I type in exclamation point TIL, and then they should disappear after 10 seconds again. Yeah, nice. So let's put these into a container, and I just quickly want to style this a little bit so that it looks okay-ish. So we're gonna just quick and dirty do div style. Oops. Position absolute. Position absolute. Top 10M, 10M, and right 10M. Oops. And then we close the div and we just bring in our light bulbs there. Div, here we go, something like that. So what we now can do is we can press exclamation point TIL. All right, almost. Let's go for 5, 2. Let's see. So we now do again TIL. So in our window here, so I have this browser overlay window, and they should be here somewhere now. Didn't get it. Let's go with top 0 maybe. TIL. But we have to bring them a little bit to the... Okay, let's do it like this. Where are they here? Why don't I see them? They should show also up in this website, which is overlaying my stream. So when I do TIL, they should be here, which they are not, but they are in the stream, which means that it still works. Let's do -5 EM. Let's see if this looks a little bit sharper already. Well, I think it's already not too bad. So let's make them a little bit smaller though. Let's go with this. I will probably tweak that for hours. Yeah, I think that I still have to work on the animation, and they're moving too much, I guess. So let's go with 50 only. TIL. And they're too long. They're too long. So let's make this only a few seconds so that they only show up for 3 seconds. So when I now do TIL, I think that's not too bad actually. Let's do this is a little bit higher, and let's do TIL. TIL. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's bring it a little bit more to the left, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day today. Yeah, a little bit more, but here we go. So what we have now is a bare bones React Spring animation. So what you see there is that I built a Next.js app that interacts with the chat. So there are a bunch of custom commands available, like when you go exclamation point, you will see that there is a exclamation point shave command available. Then you will see that there is an exclamation point anime available. And now when you do TAL, which stands for Today I Learned, it's actually not that bad. Oh my god, I'm a little bit smaller. So where are they? Where was the width? Let's go with this. When you do TIL now, then a few light bulbs show up. Well, that is actually pretty cool. Yeah, maybe a little bit less movement still. And then I'm gonna call it a day. TL, TL, TL. Oh, it's still puzzling sometimes. And I think that some random factors here, something like, where was the, so we're going to drop all this because that is not working. And this is probably a little bit too much here for left and right. Let's just go with 50. And the rotation a little bit less, also like 20. So when we now do TIL, they have to get a little bit, oh, I'm doing total bike shedding here. All right, let's do it like this. Let's do TIL. And I think there should be some more maybe, I don't know. Does that look good? Yeah, I think it's already cool. So we now have a custom, light bulb moment when someone learns something here. Oh my god. All right. And that's it for today. I think that was a decent thing. What we did is that we implemented the TLI Slackbot command. I'm very happy about that. And I will definitely stream again next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m. CAT, which is 11 SF time, I think. And until then, thank you everybody, and thanks for watching. And I'm gonna celebrate one more time, and